Teresa and Nick's parents?
What?
Teresa, ours, and Nick Gaul's parents. Who are they?
Ours.
Oh, they're in the end of that book now. Richard had that marriage certificate, I think.
We're just gonna let that
They got married in Germany, right?
Who?
You're right. 'Cause it'll be.
Your great-great-grandpa.
Yeah, Paul Gaul.
Paul, that's it.
See, Grandpa was Pete,
Yeah.
and his dad was Paul, and his dad was Peter again. Now, I don't know if, looks like that Clement, Dave Clement today, I should have showed him this picture. These would be his grandparents.
Oh, really?
Okay, Grandpa, we're gonna want you to tell us a few stories.
What?
We're gonna want you to tell us a few stories here. Linda's gonna ask. Okay, let's see.
This Centennial, that's Schlichtig. Alma Granders, one Alma. Elmer and what was this? That's real.
How old would that baby be now?
This was born August 17 in 52.
So, Linda, we need to figure that out, don't
Oh,
we? It's
yeah.
92. Easy,
years.
yeah.
That's my grandparents. He was 23 years old and he left Germany and left the family, the country and the family come over. And he landed there, middle of the timber where all of the world is. He homesteaded that in 1847, $1.25 an acre. But he had to grub that all off by hand.
Do you remember anything about his telling stories about the Indians or anything like that?
My dad said he could remember that some of the Indians come through from that other hollow there from Bill Meyer around.
Was there ever any danger from the Indians?
No, I didn't think so, not that time. No more. See, that must have been whole Indian territory that he used.
Oh, I'm sure it was, and I imagine it was covered with trees, wasn't it?
Well, I can't figure out like Grandpa, where did he live from first? He must have had a covered wagon or something.
Did he come from New York? Did he come, you probably don't know that.
Oh, we have to look through here to read that.
Gotta put my glasses on to do that. He came from Pratt's, Luxembourg
Yeah.
on February 9th, 1823.
He was,
See, previous to his marriage, he had returned to Luxembourg
yeah,
and
he had
brought
his
his
twin brother.
and a colony from there.
But he wouldn't come along, so he brought his nephew along. And that's where Monsignor Nick and the other three Gauls come in, Father Gauls. Then four that was by the altar when we celebrate grandparents' 100 years marriage.
The four priests were descendants from some of those original colonists.
From
Sounds to me.
his nephew that Grandpa brought along over. That one
Oh,
that
I see.
celebrated his 100th birthday, that's a brother to Monsignor Nick.
Okay. Do you know why
See,
they...
and his nephew, Grandpa's nephew, that was their dad.
Why did they come over to begin with? Do you remember? Do you know
Well,
that?
Grandpa, my dad always says, he come over on account of the army. They all had to take training. There was no, what do you call it, no exception at all. Regardless to health or what, they had to take training.
So he was really escaping the army.
Imagine, more or less.
Kind of like the same
What
thing
kind
that
of ship
happened
did
in
they come
Vietnam.
over on?
People
What?
went to Canada.
What kind of boat did they have to come over?
Yeah, that I don't know what kind of boat they had, but I think it took them 3-4 months to come across the river, the ocean.
And let's see, he got married after that.
Yeah,
Where did he
Teresa-
meet Grandma, do you know?
I have no idea. Teresa Allers. My dad always says Mickey Farm was an Allers farm years ago. But I know when Richard's grandpa lived there. I helped haul hogs for him. It took him putting it 4 hours with a team to Dyersville. And Hoover afterwards, one time we made in an hour and 20 minutes.
He pushed the team pretty hard then.
And then it was a mile further than we ended at now. See, all them gravel roads, that was the main road. See, they changed that road, then they went to Pete Overman's farm, 120 acres, just catty-corner straight through.
Cut all the fields up in triangles, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Where the old road, they went with the boundary lines, huh?
Pretty
North
well.
and south or east and west.
Yeah, and Nubiana, right over the bridge, that road was the main road. Then we come out on by Vasquez on top of the hill again.
Do
And
you
then
ever,
by Menke, there they went in from Hampson, in that lane, till the line fence, till Menke's when they come up by Menke, not which was the other one, Rolling Place it was. And then by Victor Menke, then it went there too in Lyle's a little, in the corner. And then you can see where a low spot is in Menke's field, towards, who lives there now?
Victor,
No, it's Clan Steffen's farm.
Gudenkauf, right?
Gudenkauf. Yeah, you know, in the road first where the sand pile is, that was part of the main road from that corner. And Menke's hayfield now, that's been slant through there. They went part in Lyle's yet.
do you remember when your dad got the first car?
1918, September 1918.
Oh yeah? Who drove it then?
I did. Pa never drove a car.
Who taught you? How did you learn how to drive it?
How did you learn?
Oh, Gronville sold it. The dealer drove to Dyersville.
The dealer taught you how? You didn't need a license or anything?
No, we didn't need no license till we was married 3 years, I believe. No, 4, 5. I think the license come either 32 or 33.
You mean
Answer a few questions, paid a quarter for 2 years.
the guy who sold the car taught you how to drive it?
Yeah,
You never had been on a tractor or anything, huh?
we never had a tractor then.
First time you were behind the wheel. How old were you?
14.
And you were the oldest in the family and the only one who
No.
knew how to drive?
3 sisters older, and they always said George was 15 minutes older than I am. So he's older.
Yeah, but you were the oldest at that time, the oldest male of the family, so you naturally had to drive. In other words, your
George-
dad probably would have bought the car sooner if he'd had somebody to drive it sooner, huh?
No, that's about the time when most of the cars come around Luxembourg.
Did he ever learn how to drive?
No, Pa didn't.
He did. At 14, you were taking your dad out with the car.
After that, I found out my uncles and aunts better.
Sure, and us, we weren't given permission to drive the car, huh? My gosh in heaven.
And the license there was from the state, not the county that time.
Do you remember when any of the roads were gravelled or paved in
No, they were all dirt road.
Even Highway 52?
There was no 52 that time.
What kind of experiences did you have when you first drove?
Terrible. Mud road. Put on chains. The winter months we jacked them up and took horses. Drove with horses.
So you only use the car in the summertime?
Yeah.
You ever had any accidents with it?
No. Them
Didn't go
days,
fast enough.
Ever
I
get
bet.
picked up for speeding?
them days, if there was a corner, what was that yet? The one that blew the horn first, or the right of way.
Oh, yeah.
Or took the right of way, in other words.
That's
And then
interesting.
later on it come, you had to hold your hand out if you turned left and this way for right.
Did your dad ever get did he ever get a tractor before he died? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, by Laverne, yeah.
He never drove that either, I guess.
No. And he couldn't do no heavy work after 55.
Well, I can relate to that.
I sowed the oats when I was 15, and when I was 16 I planted corn. And 2 years before that I worked the ground up, then he had Pete Hudderside hired to plant it, old Batchman.
Oh, yeah.
No, about all he did after he was 55, carried lunch or got the cows.
You did that all with horses, though, huh?
Yeah,
Planting
yeah.
corn and...
And he got the eggs down, washed them and put them in that case. That's about all he could do after 55.
Why? Was he,
I don't know.
I think he just had a lot of sun. Why should he do it?
well, it sounds like he wasn't able.
No,
wasn't
he was kind of sickly a little bit, I'd say.
How old was he when he died?
A month before 77.
Oh,
I didn't think
20
he was
years
that
after
old.
that. I didn't either.
Yeah,
See, he was quite a bit older than Grandma then, wasn't he?
9 years, yeah.
Or 9 years.
And then he had his full crop of hair yet when he died.
Yeah.
But Ma always says, Grandpa Muck, he was bald-headed. He'd always go in the garden when the cabbage leaves was big enough, put that between the head and the straw. That's some old stories, ain't
So
it?
that's where we inherited it from. This is the muck side.
Yeah.
I wasn't careful when I picked my ancestors. Yeah.
You know, it says here that there's a two-room log cabin on the old home place. That's Laverne's house, right?
Yeah, they're in use.
I know if you go down, you can see that, but was the house the size it is now when you
No,
were?
it was all built to us from all sides.
Okay, but do you remember any of that being built, or was it there when you were young?
No, all I remember what Grandpa and my dad is put the bathroom up there. That was an open porch. We had to carry that every fall full of stumps and firewood.
So you remember when the bathroom was, well, obviously you would remember when the bathroom was put in.
Oh, the bathroom was built during the Second World War. See, they had, the old people had, what do you call them, more privilege they could get if you had a permit and stuff. Like, we couldn't have got any if you buy the stuff that time.
Because it was rationed.
Well, I never was racing.
What bathroom
But
fixtures?
most they come around first. We put ours in here in, what was it, 41 or 42.
Uh-huh. So do you remember your dad getting any new machinery, horse machinery?
Oh, yeah.
Well, how did you do it when you were a boy? Did you have a dump rake or a hay loader?
Well, no, we had a side rake then already. But it was mostly with forks. Have you seen them?
Side rake with forks?
Yeah. Well, I used one dump rake yet. Then we raked it crossways for the hay loader, but that was most of them run yet by hand. I remember that when load the hay all by hand.
Oh, you picked it out of that windrow and threw it on a wagon by hand?
Well, then when they used a dump rake, they made little piles out of it. After they had the windrow there, then they went crossways and made a little pile out of that. And every time when you thought the pile was big enough, then you had to step down on that thing. Then the wheels would lift that thing up. First they had a shaft on it for a single horse, and then later on they put a tongue in.
Yeah, that pulled pretty heavy yet if you had all day. And what about the cultivators?
Walking cultivator,
How many horses did your dad have?
2. Oh, for on the plow, corn plow. I don't remember that he ever used that for one row plow. I mean that plow to make a round for a row with one horse.
You ever remember any excitement when you had a new horse you were trying to break in to work?
Yeah, some of them.
You remember the names of some of those horses way back then?
Well, I remember that Pa sold one team a 3-year-old. And then that time the people that bought horses, they didn't want them trained. You had to break them, they wanted to break them themselves.
How much did horses go for back then?
Well, if you had a nice team, 300, up to 500,
Dollars?
A piece?
a team.
Or
That was a
for
lot of money now.
A team.
Yeah, horses were hard.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah, a good horse. You needed a horse to farm, I guess.
That they had to be good horses though. I know when he sold that team for First World War, 1917, I guess, in the fall. Old Mert bought that. And then he went on that 80 acres where Albert Nick was later on. The old man Nick lived on top of the hill where Bill Wessel lived. And then that Ned boy got married and they all slackered him. And I guess he got married, I think he was married 3 weeks or a month, something like that. Then he died with the flu, when the flu came on. And that cost him money. He helped the undertaker that time. He says it was a pity that they called him slacker. You should have seen his body this fine. Yeah, Bill Clement died too with the flu that time. The whole family had it. They were all in bed, except him. And, see, he had been in Fort Dodge 3 weeks, and then they sent him home. Ellie Deuster died in Fort Dodge in the camp with the flu. And they were first cousins. Their mothers was both Paul's sisters. And then he got medicine at 6 o'clock, and midnight Bill was dead himself.
Yeah.
What year was that?
I forget, it was in the winter 1917 or 18. There was
beginning of
5
the First
funerals in
World War.
Darrellsville one morning. Pa and me, we went to the funeral.
Did you ever get sick from it, or Grandpa?
We never had the flu,
Nobody in your family?
not at home. But Ma did, that cook stove, that red hot coal. Every night before we went to bed, we had to get it by the stove, and then she put sulfur on there.
Sulfur. And then what did you do?
Inhale that.
Inhaled it? Is
Inhaled that more or less, I guess, because that didn't smell just too good.
How old were you?
Well, I was born in 4, so I was 14.
Yeah, you don't remember that.
Yeah. Did Grandma herself ever get sick? She lived to be so old. Do you ever remember her being sick?
No, she didn't go along to the funeral. That was the winter Laverne was born. No, really, not until I think her worst was when they took her leg off.
But
Then she
you don't
finally gave
remember
up.
she had the flu or things like that when you
No.
were young? You don't remember any?
No.
I think she's just a very healthy woman.
I think she was.
Yeah, she was.
What about when she had those children? Where did she have them all at home?
Oh yeah, them days all.
I remember too.
Yeah, Yus was all born here too,
Well,
This
I know.
house.
Yeah.
except Leander.
Uh-huh.
We took her to the hospital. See, the afterbirth come first. And then they took my blood while they operated her. They never tested it. And then after that, then they told me they get 2 of your brothers or sister and 2 of hers. And just so happened for the toll call to Dubuque to the hospital. They didn't want to let that baby that my brother's taken along home, that had to go through an undertaker. And Father Toll talked to them, told me, call that head lady, I'll talk to her. After that, they could take him along.
So that you could bury him.
And then it took, after they come in, Billy and Joe and Amella, I forget who the other one was from Franklin. They lived on there by Colesburg then already, West of Luxembourg. Then when they got there, that took putting there half a day before the nurse comes and says if they could use some of their blood. But they didn't need any. Just the one, that's all they had that she got that time. Yeah, the road here was shot first year. Snow, we had to put chains on. Yeah, Vincent, my brother, he was only 9 days old when he died in 1912. She had no opening for his bowels.
Now, were there any other babies that died that were brothers and sisters of yours?
Vincent, that's the only
Was that
one.
the only one? So there were 14 births and 13 of them living.
They're all about 15, 16 months apart.
And the miracle is that none of them died as youngsters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially with the flu and
That's
all
true.
that.
Yeah,
With those days, yeah.
diphtheria that time.
Doc Schrader lost one, that was Sophie and Henry, not of them, with a child during the flu. Oh yeah, that time, Father Oberlin, no mass, no school for 3 weeks. You could come to church on Sundays on your own, but be on your own. All the churches around here were shut, I think, that time.
People must have really been frightened
Then the hawks got him.
of having their children get
Then you lost hawks on account of the flu, and then the dog got the flu. We never knew nothing about the flu till the First World War.
You think soldiers brought it back from Europe, maybe?
Well, that's when the war was during
Oh, I know, it was 1970, but that's what I'm saying, is that how you think it got back
I
here?
don't know. See, the United States got in 1917,
Yeah,
but the other side, they were fighting a couple of years before that.
yeah.
Like England, they bought a lot of stuff here. They were supposed to pay and get it. Well, that happened first. Then they come, then they had to have credit. Then it didn't take long, we had to bring it over. And then it's when the ship got sunk. I wonder
That was Second
who,
World War.
no, First World War too.
Was it?
Then they all hollered, war to end all wars, yeah, but how long did it last? And it was the Second War, Korea
Yeah,
War,
yeah, that'll never happen.
Vietnam War.
Do you know what I'd like you to tell us about would be your wedding? I've never heard where, when you and Grandma got married.
In Vienna,
You got married in Vienna. Where did you have the wedding celebration? Did you have the?
in the house here at the corner. Then
Oh.
the wedding was all in
Oh,
the,
at Clem Hafer, in that house you had the wedding
What?
reception? Where Clem Hafer lives today?
yeah,
Oh, up the hill from the old 80.
yeah.
Oh.
That's that farm right on the corner.
How many people came?
Oh, uncles and aunts and two sets of neighbors,
Okay, that was 1927.
three sets of neighbors. Neighbors from here and at home, and then,
So did everybody have cars so they could get over there?
no, not all of them. Some of them had a team yet.
Had horses. What kind, did they serve food? Did they have any drink, anything like that at a wedding like
Pop,
that?
drink, that's all.
They didn't have beer?
Then we had dinner for the whole works, not dinner, supper. We just had dinner for the parents and the sponsors
Did you say what time the wedding was in the morning?
and the grandparents.
What time was the wedding in the morning?
8 o'clock. Got married first.
And then you went right over to the reception.
No,
How they
we
told
had
it?
breakfast at Regain's aunt. They had no children, Joe family.
In New
And we
Vienna.
had breakfast there, and then we went to Dallas to get the pictures taken. Then we come back.
Did you have to do that with? No, you had a car then.
Yeah, the star we had,
Was that your car?
you know.
And your dad had what kind of car?
Well, you had a star, and the first one was a big 6-wheeler, 7 passenger.
Oh.
You could fold the 2 chairs up in the back.
Okay, after the wedding, did you move right in here, or did you go to Hawaii for a wedding trip?
We went to La Crosse on the wedding trip to see Hilda. Hilda and Sis and her sister.
Well, that's good, you got some
Sis and her sister, that was Regain's aunt.
Yeah, I remember her.
And she was in the common 25 years, and that's the first time she ever was home. That's the time when they start changing that they could go home. And when we got married, that was the day for her to go home. She could stay for in Mass, but after that she had to go home. She couldn't come to the Christmas. And from then on, they come home every 5 years.
Because when they entered, I guess it was with the understanding that they wouldn't come home at all.
Yeah,
Is that right?
when they called them, when the parents died, they couldn't come home. When they called they were bad shape, then they could. But in case, in the meantime, if something did happen that they were dead, if they called, then she couldn't home no more.
Strange.
Now, when Pa died, we had to take her the whole across into Vienna. She couldn't sleep at home. They always went with 2. They had to go with 2. And they had to be in bed by 9 o'clock.
Okay, getting back to this farm, because this is where you moved into. Did you have any crop failures or any problems those first years that you can remember?
Then the dry years in 32 and 33 and 4.
27, 28. Yeah.
I know one year we had all the straw in, all the hay in, and at least 10 acres of corn stalks chopped up. And the barn was not near full, not even half full the south side.
And that's all you got, you mean?
But you were here a couple of years before you built this barn, weren't you?
Yeah, that was built in 30.
So that you moved here in 27?
Regain lived here 5 years. Clem had it rented from Foxton,
What years was that, I wonder?
from 20 to 25, I think.
Oh, and then you moved here at 27, 2 years later? Who had it in the interim there?
Ben Niehaus,
Oh, he had it for 2 years?
5 years, no, he bought it, he had it in 5 years.
Okay, and then after that, when did your dad
From-
buy it?
He bought it on Sheriff's Hill in March 26. Then we worked it from home till we got married,
Then you got married in September
27.
of 27, that's right. That was a whole year.
Yeah, I guess that time too, when it was for sale, Lewis didn't have quite the money for down payment. So he went in the bank and asked the bank for money. In the meantime, that banker snuck out and bought it away on him. And then a couple of months later, he paid $50 or $60 an acre more.
Yeah.
And later on, now, we didn't know it neither, but later on, the neighbor says, yeah, if he'd have got it for nothing, he wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
Oh,
He said, John Lang, they hauled milk and cream together with 5 here with horses. He said one morning, Monday morning, or Saturday afternoon, they had a car ready then, a Model Ford. He went north, and when he hauled cream Monday, he got here, cows were belling, no food in the barn, nothing. And then he watched them, they didn't come back home till Monday afternoon, in the winter.
So he wasn't the best farmer.
No,
Well, what did you have for horses when you started then? Did you get some horses from your dad or did you buy some? And what about the cattle?
we bought a couple of horses right away.
And then what about machinery? Use your dad's?
Yeah, we bought a disc and a gang plow.
Remember what it cost?
No, bought them from Crucial Nova cattle.
you ordered them?
Yeah, we had to get them from the depot to the Dyersville and put them together to at home.
Oh, yeah?
And then he had a couple of walking plows, he got one of them.
Oh, yeah? Well, that wasn't major.
And how'd you get cows and hogs?
Oh, we
chickens?
had heifers here, they raised quite a bit of heifers then.
So your dad helped you with that?
Oh, yeah. I don't know just how many cows we started milking.
Now, your dad
There was
owned,
young stuff here.
your dad owned this farm, so did you rent it for half?
No, cash.
You rented it for cash, and
I
then
don't
you
know, what
bought
was
it
$800, $900 a year we paid.
to rent the farm.
Yeah, that's why Lavina, Mom's stepmom, after she was here once with her parents. Then we must have sold the sows that time. See, we always sold them after we weaned the pigs and fed them another 3 weeks and sold them. And we had a cream shack. That's the day or two before they come here that Sunday. Then Regina told Villian. See, she lost her husband and her children were all small. I think Eldon was baby when he lost him. And then anyway, she says, Regina told her how much income he had that night. It was around $400. Oh, then you're rich quick. Oh, Regina says, we first got to pay $800, $900 rent. What? I thought they'd pay you for taking care of the building.
Not hardly.
That's why I think she didn't want much to do with them half-brothers and sisters. See, Grandpa was married twice.
Grandpa was married twice?
Grandpa
Fangman.
Fangman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Clem was the oldest. He was 12 years, I think, they told me when he died. Then he remarried.
You mean when his mother
Second.
died?
Huh?
When his mother died?
His wife, Grandpa Fangman.
Okay.
Clem's folks.
Yeah, right.
See, Lavina and Hilda and Alvis, Al, not Alvis, was the second, the stepchildren, stepbrothers and sisters.
Mhm.
Clem, there were Clem, Joe, and Al. I thought there were 5, that was 4, huh? Clem, Joe, Ben, Al, and one girl, that was 5. Clem's Pasca's mother was Clem's sister.
Stepsister or sister?
Sister,
Sister.
right sister. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Grandma, she was a Foxy. See, this building's here, they were down the 3 corner. In 1980, the old Foxy bought this 40. Then they started building this house,
In 19 what?
1880.
1880.
Oh,
1890.
1880.
Oh, okay.
Now, Grandpa, first wife, she buried in Vienna. Eileen and me, we looked already, we can't find it. Maybe there's no marker there.
That could be.
And the second marriage, they're both Grandpa and Grandma in Dyer, so. See, when Lavina, when her husband died, she's going to go into Vienna with her folks. Then she wouldn't get no state aid. When her folks moved in with her, then she got state aid for the children and with her home. Yeah, she's living yet. She was 3 weeks younger than Regine.
Oh.
When did you buy this farm then, from your dad?
36, or was it 37? Must have been 36 and 41, I think. Yeah, then we bought that 42. And then we had to change the loan. Then we borrowed 9,600 for the whole 160. Then it says, the loan company, the biggest loan in the Butte County.
And then you bought the 40 a couple years
41.
later.
Or 42, I forget.
You had to get another loan then.
Yeah, I had to, and I had to pay the other one off and then get another loan. Then we had everything settled. We didn't know that we had to pay the tax for the whole full year. I had the first half paid. No, they didn't want to get the loan through. So Manchester Bank, we had it for a couple of months. It's, A.M. Cloud was aided me, he sold it. He got that certificate actually. And then when that come, then I paid that interest right away for them couple of months. And with everything straightened out, the banker in Luxembourg said, we'd have borrowed you the money. Yeah, I said, now you tell me. Same when I bought that 40. And about 6 months later, I talked, he was sitting on the bench at old Joe Pasca, bachelor. I talked a little while with him. Then he says, yeah, Alphonse, you made a mistake. Oh, he says, now what? You should have bought that whole farm. See, there's 120 and 40 timber, there was 200 acres. I said, I had a hard time to get them $3,000 together for that 40. That's what I paid for it. Then he says, you should have come to me, you wouldn't have needed a penny. I said, now you tell me. See, Marvin must get a note. We could have used putting the whole work for it.
Yeah, you could have kept the boys home then instead of having them work out
Yeah.
like you did.
Yeah.
You remember that, Laura, that Marvin working at Laverne, and
Yeah, I do.
you remember staying at Laverne too.
See, that 40 didn't raise no crops for us. But I didn't blame the renters. It always was rented. Bill Helly was living there. Then the landlord come with a bushel of clover. He's supposed to sow that whole 40 down. And then the city didn't catch. And Alphonse Kramer rented it then. He couldn't get much. Well, Bill Helly had oats in 1 year. And there was 8 wagons for the trash machine bought away. Didn't even know get a load.
Wow.
And then it was seeded. The seeded had cod when I bought it. And then Alphonse Kramer didn't want it. He says, you can't raise no crops no more. Then I pastured 2 years, summers, and took all the manure there the 2 years. And then the second year, the hogs rooted so bad. It was full of morning glories. Then the neighbors told, they kill all your grass. Yeah, I says, let them. And then the next fall, we plowed it up. That's when we got the tractor.
Oh, that's when you got the first tractor you ever
Yeah.
had?
And the hogs, they rooted all the morning glories out. That killed them.
That was
Then
in
we
what,
put
42?
corn in, and then when we were picking it, then I bought the picker. I got that the first time I made corn.
I remember getting the new corn picker again.
Yeah,
You know, sometimes I think I can still remember getting it.
and then Alphonse Kramer,
I think I
Alphonse Kramer come over the fence. If I'd have known this, you'd have never got this 40. And old Henry Foxon was here. He shook his head. The corn, the ears was all there. It was towards fall already. Then he said, that's going to go 75, 80 bushels, and they did. I just made 1 round. Then they had the flares on the triple box, 4 rows. Then there was more in there than just a straight triple box.
Yeah.
And they held about 35 flat and triple box that time year corn.
Yeah, that 40 was a good buy.
Yeah, but later on the neighbors told me, Joe Stephen and Rick, Teresa, you paid $20 too much, you should have bought that for $50. I paid 75. Well, I told them sure to go that joint farm. And a year later I found out, Joe and Rick, they wanted to find 40 here. They thought I should switch them. I would have done that anyway. I think they bid on it and Paul bought it on sale.
Why did they think that 40 would never raise any crops?
Well, there was never pasture, never no manure.
And so they just presumed the land was useless.
Yeah. See, Helly had the whole thing in oats once and he got no 8 loads from him. And one year he had oats that I think he had to tear every bundle apart on account of the morning glories.
I remember we had a few morning glories in there, but not a whole lot.
Not too many. Are them horseradish in the
creeping
3-corner yet?
They
No.
grow like
Morning.
weeds.
They're all gone, ain't they?
Tangle everything up.
Yeah.
What?
Them horseradish, there's none in the 3-corner no more.
No, we don't have horseradish anymore.
There were a lot of them there the first years.
We have some rhubarb. We used to have horseradish in the garden, but I never.
Yeah, we
Is that
planted them there that time. But I guess they're gone too.
That grows pretty wild too.
Do you ever see that advertised in Gurney's or any of these seed magazines? I bet you could buy horseradish and plant it.
I'm sure
I
you
mean,
could.
you have to get
See,
it.
Clemmy put all
Yeah,
them,
in any nursery.
Clemmy put all them buildings up. That was open ground when he bought that. And that didn't raise too good crops neither. Cause Singsong, never no cattle there. And they showed always that Timothy instead of clover. That used to belong to Singsong farm years back.
What was on this farm for buildings when your dad bought it?
Well, that old barn, and the tool shop for granary,
Okay.
and then a corn crib.
Laura and I used to sit under the granary and smoke corn silks. Yeah.
That corn crib that was built with posts in, that only held the two sides for probably 1,000 bushel, 500 bushel on each side.
Mhm.
And the hog house was here. That was built in 1918, Henry told me.
Oh yeah.
And Grandpa, Timon, we looked at, then there was a log shack down here, he said at the bottom. No, the barn that was here with that old machine, that other machine shed is there. There was 4 rows crossways, 2 rows for horses. And we could tie 8 cows up for milk and the mothers were loose.
Then you milk them by hand and then get the other ones in?
No, the other ones, the heifers and the dry ones, they was in the middle, they're loose.
You only milked 8 cows?
Well, that's all we could tie up. Oh, the summer we milked more. Not the first year, maybe.
Who milked them?
Regina and me, by hand.
Both of you.
Yeah, we milked by hand till, when did we get that milk machine?
I imagine after we got electricity, we used the gas engine on it for about 2 years, so we must have got that in about
45?
43, 44.
45, somewhere in
We
there.
got electricity in 46, not,
7, no?
no, well, I don't know, give or take,
It could have been 46.
yeah. But yeah, I remember we had a gas engine on there for
Yeah.
at least a year, I think, before we got
And
electricity.
didn't want to start unless you had high-test gas in.
Yeah, I know, we used to fool with it, that
I
motor.
know Regina got used a lot of times. Opened the door on this end and a long rope. She had to roll that around that pulley. A long rope she roped around and then 2 of them, then they had to run down north end.
To start
You got speed in them before it started. Then when you got high test gas, that seemed to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a change. I think that Eddie must have been with this farm sometime, long before that in the abstract. Sometimes I'd like to look through there once more.
Who thrashed your oats when you were at home?
Then they had a company machine.
What's a company machine?
5 neighbors went together and bought it.
Oh, they all owned the machine. Who took care of it then?
Tony Minky.
But how did they decide who took care of it? Did they have some kind of a structure?
Well, I don't know if they had some kind of agreement or what. See, Tony Minky, Frank Vasky, Fonda, Bill Meyer and the folks. See, before that it was all them big machines. We had a stack.
Yeah.
I helped stack. I helped trash stacks too.
But those, just one man owned it then, and he did custom work.
Yeah. I think there was 3 in Liberty Township. Could have been 4.
Threshing machines.
But, yeah.
And then what did they power them with?
Steam engine,
Steam engines?
waterman, water wagon.
Oh yeah.
And Spoden, when he'd pull in a setting, that was 4 stacks, 7, 8 loads to a stack. He'd run them through you that night.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot to do if they had that many farms to go to.
And then, wherever they thrashed it, they had to give them supper, the whole gang.
Dinner and supper.
Yep.
The women all got together to cook
then,
then, I guess.
Then 3. The one that took care of the steamer, and the other one trash machine, and the one with the water wagon. They stayed overnight wherever they were.
What was a water wagon? Just a great big barrel with full of
Tank.
water? A
Tank.
tank of water.
Yeah, they generally had to go to a creek to get that water.
They couldn't go to the well.
That's didn't. Most of them you had to pump by hand, and sometimes the windmill didn't go. I know by the folks, he went to the Hampson's Creek there to get that water with the team that time.
Did you dip? You didn't dip it.
No, they had a pump, by hand pump.
Oh, siphon it would work.
Yeah, that's quite a change in my time. What's going to happen the next 50 years?
I can't imagine.
There were more changes and, yeah.
Yeah, and then even 20 below a snowstorm, neighbors hauled hogs together with a team. You had to go to Dyer Show. I know one time I had to go every day all week except Saturdays.
But that got old.
You had to get
We
the
didn't
wood
mind
chop.
that 20 below weather then, or snowstorm. Well, I guess the main team was used to it.
Yeah, you had to chop wood for all the heat, and
Yeah.
you didn't have a gas truck coming. Well, I guess they did have gas, but they didn't have no gas heat in houses, did they? Or oil?
No, kerosene light. And sometimes you bought a ton of coal for besides.
Okay, that helped.
Make the wood and then saw it, go wood sawing, and most of the time the wood pile was full of snow and ice.
Yeah.
Then after the sod, we generally let the wood pile lay till lunch starts, then we went and split the wood for the cook stove.
Yeah. Did you butcher at home then? I
Oh,
guess you
yes.
naturally did. You had quite a few in the family.
After I was out of school, I think then Paul and me, we did most of the butchering. Uncle John Morris, he was the main butcher, but in 1915 they moved to Bloomington.
Oh yeah.
That was Paul's brother-in-law. No, I went butchering quite a bit.
So then people came here and helped you butcher too.
Yeah, when you had the neighbors sometimes, yeah.
I remember 9 of them were ready.
But Pete Merkers, a couple of winters I helped butcher there. Sometimes 8, 9 hogs and a beef.
Yeah, that's a lot of meat. In those days you didn't have refrigeration, did you?
No,
What did the poor
we
women?
cut meat up and make sausage pudding the whole week.
Yeah.
And then how much, we get into how much sausage and bacon and stuff did we fry down.
Yeah, when the Pilgrims landed on the
The
Plymouth
cheeks were
Rock.
always fried down. That was good bacon, them cheeks, fried down.
And then you buried it in fat. And
Yeah.
you dug it out in the winter.
Covered up Lord,
Heated it up and ate it.
the backbone cut up in pieces and put them down in a crock
They buried it in fat? Just a second here.
and then packed them down with
I thought it was a
little,
salt barrel.
pack them down with little, oh, that was what we cured in the salt barrel.
What did you do with this other meat? And why did you keep?
Huh? No, we put weight on, so the meat in the crocks, so it wouldn't take quite as much lard, see?
Oh, you put salt water in there.
Not what was fried down,
No salt?
no. That we put on when you fried it.
What did you put in there?
Lard,
Lard.
covered with lard.
You pour lard in over the meat, and that kept the air
Yeah,
off of it. Is
that
the
sealed
idea?
everything. Then she covered up with paper and then put a lid on and sell it. And sausage she generally put in jars, half-a-gallon jars or quart jars.
Yeah, I do remember cooking the beef
Yeah.
and stuff, but I didn't know you
Beef.
kept meat just
Beef,
fat.
cold packed out in jars.
That is just what she fried down. That wasn't.
Was this low cholesterol stuff you had here?
I remember peeling some of that, I think I remember
The
peeling some of
bacon
that
and shoulders and ham, we cured them and smoked them.
Well, I remember hams in a salt barrel.
Yeah. And later on, when it was smoked, through smoking, then we packed it in salt.
Then at night they would patch it, so many.
Then the hams, we sliced them, and then she generally had to cook that salt water off a little,
And then had 8 or 9 kids.
so that it wasn't so salty. Then fry it.
Yeah. Yeah, it took rugged citizen those days.
Washed by hand.
Yeah, and you had a water hold, they scald them that time, they didn't skin them like now.
Make homemade soap.
Yeah, homemade soap.
Churned butter?
Yeah, that was work.
Yeah, the last years I made that homemade soap here in the big slop kettle.
I can remember that.
See, I remember that, right out there in the yard, and you
Summer
put fire
kitchen.
under it. No,
Yeah.
well, I remember a big, and then
Wouldn't
you'd stir
stir.
this thing,
You
Yeah.
dump cans of Lewis fly in it.
and Grandma was always so proud of her soap.
Yeah.
The whiter
She'd
it
lay
was,
that
the
out.
better,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right, better it was. And then you shaved it, and you put it in the washing machine. Right?
you use it to wash our face and hands with it too.
Lye, there was lye in that soap.
A lot of lye, that ate all the tallow and rinds and up. You should have had that on a tape recorder then. When you were old, you could have played that back.
Yeah.
That's right. That'd be
We
interesting.
put that mixture, whether in troughs,
The recipe.
at home at least, we did put it all in troughs, and then we would cut that in blocks.
Oh, yeah, and then you
Yeah.
have your
When it was hot,
bars, I bet.
after it got cold, we cut it all in pieces.
See, but ours weren't all square. I remember some were triangles, some had odd shapes because that cooker was round.
Yeah.
See, you had, it sounds like Dolores had shapes, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, we put it in old
You poured it
troughs.
out.
We never did
We
that.
could have taken
Huh?
buckets and dumped it in someplace
Sure.
else to cool. It would have been the same thing.
But up
No, we
here,
left it in the slop
we had this big,
pot till it was cold.
thick,
And then we cut it through in pieces.
How did you get that
and
cut?
took it out.
that would have been a job, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you
No,
did,
we always put it in troughs. We would carry these big troughs in the basement, and then we would line them with old sacks.
Paper or whatever.
and then pour the soap in it
Pour,
when it was
pour
hot.
this mixture in it when it was hot, and then when it was cold, then we would cut that all.
Sure, we had soap this deep in the
Yeah,
cooker.
we did. We did.
How did you get that cut?
One big chunk.
No, we waited till it was cold in the pot and then we cut it.
You would,
What did you use?
Oh.
And I,
No, I didn't use that corn knife. So it got all the way through,
then you go,
all the way through. And
Maybe-
then crossways.
I thought everybody put it in troughs.
Then
I know we have so many.
Then we
people
took-
do that.
yeah.
Put
Yeah,
the
we're
section
right.
out, then
Everybody
you
else
cut
is
it
wrong.
in squares.
Why wouldn't you put it in a trough?
See, this would have made more sense.
That would have made sense, yeah.
When it was cold, when it was still warm, you shaped it.
Sure.
Yeah. In
Oh,
fact,
we
better
waited till
yet, if some guy with a little ingenuity would have just made some big trays, like ice cube trays, and just dumped it in there. You'd have had
No, I generally had a half a bucket of water standing right by me when I cook it. See, that gets wild sometimes once it goes over.
Today's all you had to do is buy a bunch of Dixie cups, paper cups, and then just cut the cup away from it when it's cool.
But you mean you just
And
dumped
then
the
later
bucket of
on,
water
when
in?
they started to steer slow. In a pan or a pot.
Yeah, I remember them.
Stirring it, sure.
Yeah.
You put tallow, what did you put in? Just tallow and Lewis lye is about all it was,
I
huh?
think so.
Why?
Or
Can't get
the
over that.
rinds, the
Well, that
skin.
digested the fat. That's what it did. It attacked the fat
Yeah.
and broke it down.
Do you know what lye is?
Well, it isn't any good.
Very strong. It's actually a very strong alkali, isn't it? It's not acid, it's lye. Acid cuts mineral, I think, isn't it? Alkaline?
Do you remember the the little speeches you used to get when they made soap?
What?
Speeches? Don't get that lie on you, yeah. Take
Yeah,
care
oh,
with
yes.
that lie.
Yeah, and we would never dare go close to it.
Yes.
And it
I
had
do.
the skull and crossbones.
That's right, because if
on
it would splash on you,
It
it would,
would burn.
yeah. I remember, I don't know if your dad ever made horseradish, but I remember you making horseradish. But you just peel the horseradishes and chop them up, I guess, and put
We
it
grind
in
them,
your
run them through the grinder.
No, we washed them off and then we peeled them and then we cut it in pieces and then we grind it. But we went outside when it was winter, so that would
That'd
go
get your
away.
eyes worse than onions.
We never made horseradish.
And then Clem and Regina and them, they all told the mother kids stuff was so good. So Claire believed that. I don't know how old she was. While we were grinding that, she got a big spoonful, spoonful of, whoa!
That's dark stuff.
That had to be mixed with sugar and
Oh, and
stuff.
and that stuff was so potent.
And that had to get itch out of it. Boy, that was strong.
But see, that would really cut the grease when you ate this fat and all of this tallow.
It was good on bacon though.
Yeah.
Now,
I still like it, you know.
I like a little teeny bit of that.
Oh, it doesn't take a whole lot. A little goes a long way.
when Diane and Jeff, was that when they baptized Kayla? No, it was after that, when she was a year old, they had that house pot already, it was in there. Then the old Bringmeyer we talked about, butchery. Then we talked about blood sausage. Oh, he put the horseradish in blood sausage. But we always just used to put it for bacon. Put it on
No, we
bacon.
never made horseradish.
You know, didn't Grandma used to sulfur apples?
Yeah. Oh, quite a few.
That's a way of
Quite a number of
preserving
years.
that.
Jenny doesn't understand, Grandpa, tell me.
Yeah, tell, how,
Jenny doesn't understand sulfured apples, what is that, or how did you do it?
We peeled them and she put them,
I've
sliced them.
forgotten that, but now that you mention it, I can
And
remember
then-
that.
She began took a big barrel and she put around 3 or 4 pounds on one side and then the other, then a stick over it. Then you take the red hot coal on the stove, and then she sprinkled sulfur over, and then she covered it up so the smoke all had to stay in there, that draw all in the apples.
I thought you had sulfur candles. You couldn't use.
I thought she had sulfur candles too, but I probably just don't remember it.
If I sell it, I'll charge them $3 for it.
Okay.
Yeah, charging for make
Yeah.
a profit on it, might as well.
Oh, he
A little
does.
American ingenuity.
Yeah,
Choose the
yes,
next
that's
Well,
generation.
I don't know anything.
That's
Trash,
Clement, he
but
was
it's still
interested in that book.
It's called business.
Yeah.
I think he never knew what, he talked, his mother never talked about it. He said, we're a relation, but I don't know how.
Yeah, that's,
And I told him and me, we were second cousin, first cousins to his dad. See, there's 2 of them boys married sisters, Nick and Henry. Like them Clemens in Manchester now, around there. That's his first cousin.
You know,
Okay.
there was one other thing I've always wondered about. You know, that little building out there, is it there yet?
Summer kitchen.
No, it's not there anymore.
summer kitchen.
The summer kitchen. Did you ever use that for a kitchen in the summertime?
The first year we was married, yeah, the summer months.
So in the summer, Grandma would run out there and cook.
Yeah, we ate in there too, the summer months.
And you ate in there.
See, there was wooden floor in there, and there was plaster. That was laddered in plaster.
Was that a wooden floor? I thought it was
Yeah.
concrete.
Yeah,
Wow.
It
I
was,
know.
it must have been wooden first,
yeah, there was wooden floor in there.
first,
Yeah,
yeah, but later you cemented it,
yeah.
yeah, it was.
Okay,
And later on, she started, when the brooders come for baby chicks, since she raised baby chicks in a couple of years.
she did, in that little old summer kitchen.
Yeah, with the brooder,
Yeah,
when the brooders
Do
come.
you remember that?
uh-uh,
Oh,
no. I
And
also,
then
I thought,
later on, we bought baby chick house room. You
A
put it
brooder
right
house,
here.
yeah.
That you probably remember.
Oh, I
that
remember
it's
that.
there.
Then did you ever smoke meat out in that room?
Oh, yeah, a lot of times after that.
Okay, how did you do that?
Start fire,
Like, did you
little
build a
dry
little,
wood, yeah, I did
right in the
it.
middle of the floor?
Well, yeah, but in a container.
Oh, so you, okay.
And we started with the dry wood and then we put green wood on top of that. The green wood is what makes the smoke.
And then first you hung all the meat in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what did you do with all that meat when it got warm?
Just like,
Oh, when we were through smoking,
Well, no, in the spring, or did you have all the meat eaten?
no, we cured it and then put it in a barrel in the cellar.
Okay. And how did you do that?
Put salt between it and then afterwards we put salt on top, covered up.
I thought smoking the meat, you could just hang it out down in the basement where it was cold and it would keep.
Some left it hanging in the smokehouse, but we never did, the folks never did that. I know some of the neighbors did, he left it in, even Clem must have. I know in the fall when I was there on a Sunday, Clem went in the smokehouse, the other hand. But then they put sulfur on the last one before they just about through smoking.
I can't
So the
possibly,
flies and bugs stay off.
can't possibly understand how you can have such a low cholesterol when you put things in lard and salted everything down and
You're right.
Shut that thing off.
Just leave it around.
and now look at 88.
How long, I wanna know how long you had to smoke that meat.
Oh, that varies, the bacon, we didn't smoke as long as the hams.
Okay, but like 4 hours,
Oh, longer than that.
Meat you smoked for a few days.
couple days?
Oh, yeah, but not too hard.
Then you had to keep stoking that little
Supposed to
fire
be 6
you
or
had.
7 days,
Oh, yeah,
but you let the
fire,
fire go out
fire,
once in a
yeah.
while, as I recall. But see, there was two different things. Sausage
Well,
you
you
only
smoked
smoked
some
for one
sausage
day or a
earlier.
few hours.
I
But
smoked-
hams you had to smoke
Yeah.
all
Did
the
you?
time.
In that summer kitchen?
I
Yeah.
smoked and I
Sure, we
fried.
did.
And I stoked it too hard sometimes.
The one
Then
year
you
it
get
was
the
smoked a
sausage,
lot.
the fat.
But
at the
otherwise
bottom
it was
you drip.
pretty good though.
Got it too warm in there.
that's healthier.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah, that's,
That's interesting.
So we
and
remember
hickory
that.
would is the best.
Yeah.
Grandpa?
That's what I
Always
thought.
got
I was
green
thinking
hickory
of
wood.
hickory
But when we
But
butchered,
you
we
gotta have
take the
something
hams
wrong
and
with
ours
it
will
to
be
keep
full.
Where'd you get it from?
We had a hickory tree out in the field.
I remember that. Is that hickory tree gone?
Oh, imagine.
That's gone.
Many
There was
years
one
ago.
over there in the
many
line
years.
fence and one down
One's only
there.
gone about 4 or 5 years, I guess.
And if we didn't get hickory wood, we used apple wood.
Oh.
Yeah, Henry showed us,
I used
I
hickory
wonder
wood.
if that would work, to use apple wood.
We did that when we were,
You
Yeah.
did use apple wood.
but did you have the meat always eaten when it got warm?
Oh, we generally had meat till fall, November.
Or that kept through the winter, through the summer?
Yeah, we put in the back cellar always. Cover the barrel up.
See, I think we had ours always gone by spring.
And see, this was repeated on every farm.
Yeah.
Just think it'd work that way.
Oh, golly. So what you plan to do is have enough meat from one butchering year to the next one?
Well, in the fall, we generally run out. Then we generally butcher the hog. Just one.
Did you ever have the meat spoil? Must have.
Not too much, I don't think.
I guess, probably
So
not.
they
You
had
knew how to
chicken
take it.
in between there too, you would butcher
That's
chickens
right.
and roosters.
Yeah, on Sundays, if you got unexpected company, first thing, run the chicken house, got a rooster or an old hen.
Can you imagine? First
You know what?
butchering and then make it and
For
then.
supper.
I made the mistake this year once, a couple of teachers were talking, and I think our principal was there. I don't know why I ever said this. I said, you know, I used to run out to the chicken house and catch a rooster, and I take it to the picket fence and take a
Chop
sharp
it.
knife, and I put the head through
Yeah.
the fence, I cut the head off.
Oh.
I
that was
shot
right.
two people.
Mom did that often. Mom did that often.
Oh, this is something we're
Yeah.
very sensitive to.
What you could do, Jennifer, grab by the neck and
Yeah,
swing
I
him
know- I know now.
till the neck fell off too.
It went fast.
Well, now Carol, she's got a couple of nephews, you know, that is sort of this animal rights thing.
Ouch.
You shouldn't even be dissecting frogs in the classroom. This is all cruelty to animals and so on,
Yeah.
the idea of life. And he's trying to get a job, but he won't work any place where they have leather couches or anything, you know. And on
Actually-
the farm, you know, we take this very serious now, you know, really.
Dissecting frogs is
Bet you
really
it's
going out,
grown.
even in education, they're not doing it
They
anymore.
Did you ever read this from Uncle
Somewhere.
John?
But farmers, I
Yes.
can see.
somewhere in some school, this kid
No,
was
some
making
folks-
a
Even the way
grill,
we
it was a
treat
frog,
our
and it was
animals.
like a science class, and they wouldn't let him paint a frog. There was a science class, and they're dissecting frogs, and they wouldn't put this frog in the mural with this, no one dissecting it.
They do baby pigs a lot, I think.
I think you find they don't really have to dissect as much as they thought they did.
Yeah, I know, they
I
use
think
plastic
they feel it's
models.
important for doctors, you know, medical students and that kind of thing,
They use cadavers, I guess.
yeah. But that is interesting history.
Those are when we got the Young's farm, we found a whole bunch of those old cream stubs. There's got the names of everybody in Luxembourg that sold cream, yeah.
See,
Back
Rick-
then, I don't know, they go to 44 or 1942 or
What were you
something
gonna
like
say,
that.
Grandpa?
Just look at the names on this. And we threw
Grandpa and
up,
grandmother were married in
we
Vienna.
threw 3/4 of them
Luxembourg
away
was
from
in
the
the
first
sister.
country.
Okay.
These are birds.
What did you say about grandma and grandpa?
They got married in Vienna. An old rock church, an old school.
The one they pushed over.
Is
Yeah.
that because grandma was, Rose, is that her name? Was from New Vienna?
That was my folks. They got married in Luxembourg.
Oh, you meant
Grandpa.
Franklin's?
No, grandpa and grandma. Your great grandparents.
Oh, okay.
Great grand. Not Rose and, not Rose Monk.
What, no,
One generation before that.
yeah,
Pete.
my dad's folks. What's this? Andy Pastor.
That was some old cream tickets from the Luxembourg Creamery.
How did they ever get those?
Andy Pastor, boy, that's old.
Pete Young's
too.
used to be the clerk, or Pete Young's
Andy
always
Pastor.
was the bookkeeper for the creamery.
Where in the heck did you get a hold of these?
We got lots of them. We threw 3/4 of them away.
Oh, yeah. Wilson told me
You
he
can-
Oh,
found
rest of it.
these.
You can tell just how much milk they got and what their milk
So
check
that was
was.
not for race.
Well, I tell you,
It's priceless.
one winter,
Cow.
when the check comes, it says only 47 cents.
Yeah, that's
Were
what
there
that
any
one,
of-
that one
any
looks
of-
like you got a bill
See,
on.
the butter was off, see.
Here's one for Laverne Gall. Here's one for
Jim
Al
Gable.
Gall.
Got one for Jean.
That's us probably.
$117.93.
That pastor's dad, west of Luxembourg.
Peter Young, $79.
Peter Young, $79?
Otto Brunsman,
The guys that had it then was the Strunks.
Peter
see
Strunk,
that one, that meant you got butter at
$390.
the time.
Yeah. That was big time.
Between me.
They go from what, 1943? These are later ones.
It was 1930. No, wait, the number's 30.
I don't know what, but yeah, Tom found these in the garage.
What a riot.
There's
They
tons
left
of
them
them.
there. How come nobody ever saw those?
Yeah.
How come you got
You mean
the
there was
whole
another box besides?
Oh, there was about 3/4 of them we
How
couldn't
come
keep
you
up,
got
we
that
decided.
all?
Well, I
This
said,
was
you know,
at
we
the other
burnt a
farm.
lot of stuff, but I
Pete-
said, these
Pete
suckers
Owens
we
must have
wouldn't
been a
keep.
director or something, and he
Oh,
put these.
he was secretary.
And see, and then Tom found them one day and he says, hey, you might want to see these.
Then he must have duplicated all of it. No, wait a minute.
No, these-
This is from the creamery, yeah, I know now.
They kept the copy.
See, he was secretary, he had to figure all the checks out and
Sure he did.
check.
Did we ever find one from this farm?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was just one. I just had one in my
Oh,
hand.
okay.
Then yours?
Here, Al Gall.
Oh, okay.
No, we don't have anything that.
Not from no.
Don't
Here's,
go
here's
that far back.
George.
Who?
Here's,
George.
I just had Laverne Gall and George Gall,
Yeah.
Joe Steffen. Pete
Joe
Owens.
Gall,
Yeah.
Jean
I
Gable,
mean,
Ray Steffen,
Yeah.
$5.71.
No, this was butter.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
He didn't have anything in there then. I didn't realize, that was butter.
Sure, he got a bill at the end of the month.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 pounds of butter. George Gall, let's see how many. Joe Gall, how many did Al Gall have? Laverne had a lot of butter. Just like
That
Laverne.
figures.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 pounds of butter.
$140.
And that doesn't count
Oh,
the
my
cream
only
they
use a lot of butter.
And
They-
they use a lot of cream too.
they use good.
use
Do you have
a lot.
ours in there yet?
Talk
How
about
much
that.
butter did we have that month?
When I was a kid,
You- I
I
just gave
used
it
to
to
just
you.
love it.
People.
Food there, well, you got fed fried potatoes.
I know I just gave it to you.
Yeah, he
Vegetarian
got,
nightmare,
now
oh
that
my
you
God.
say, he was
Right
secretary.
there.
Leonard
See,
Franklin.
Viola probably had some question on that.
Pounds of butter.
Eddie Shields?
But I still can't understand it. I can have
Yeah, it's a leak.
151 cholesterol.
That wasn't,
Live on.
that
fat
was not
oil.
gonna stuff it.
Grandma's
See,
doing
there's
pretty
two
good.
eggs a leak.
Oh, okay.
I really believe that
That leg
cholesterol
was,
is hereditary. You
What?
probably have good.
Oh,
I know.
This agate was
You know,
Jim
my
Lake's
parents,
folks.
he's almost blows my mind.
This agate.
okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
what
he
the
should
doctor
have
said.
300.
That's what the
He's-
doctor said.
Wow.
I've had a heart attack, 5 heart attacks a long time ago.
Once when I
But-
had,
You can't find that always though.
I said, you know, heredity plays a big part. He says, you better believe it does. He said, you know, and then he asked me about his cholesterol. I says, well, that was real low too. Oh, he says, that's the good genes.
See, mine is too. Last time doctor said, I can't believe your pump.
Mine was low too.
See,
Oh,
that's
isn't
what-
it
and that
funny,
means you
though?
have a pretty good chance, Jenny.
I thought you had it in between.
I know I had it.
It's Joe Gaul.
But I'll buy a
And
background.
I handed it to you.
Hell, golly.
That must be Joe L. But wait a minute, did my brother ever send it to Luxembourg or did he send
Give
it
me
to
the box.
Helicopter?
Where's the two there?
That's strange. We just had, I hate to touch these.
That
Kind of.
Oh,
What did you
the
think?
man
of
on the paper. Norbert.
Rudy Ankles,
Arnold
I wonder how
Hess.
many years.
Kate
he was
Hankles,
sitting.
Mark
Nick
Soto,
Shields.
Pete
Well,
Mark
is a year on it?
Yeah, Gene Bibble's gonna be 80 years too already now.
Pete Myers, Susan Reed. Oh, is
Who's
he?
this?
Oh, then Connor Strunk is that.
You,
Who's that?
Simone?
Yeah, yeah.
Who's Hager
Yours?
brothers?
What?
William Meyer, Ellie Wagner,
Oh, we had quite a
Who's
bit.
this? Hugswell and
Johnny
something?
Elmer Reckling, Elizabeth
2,
Meyer.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12,
Felix
14,
Silverberg.
16, 17 pounds of
Oh,
butter,
Joe Herman.
Jenny. I think that's 1 month,
We
isn't
normally
it?
get 50.
That was in 1948.
Whoops.
Where do you see
That's
that?
the no idea.
Oh, yeah. It is 1948.
Matt Myers. What was that?
Grandpa, explain this test. What does 24 mean?
Peter Strunk.
Oh, test?
24 of it.
That's not a good test.
That'd be 2 pounds,
Upside
4 ounces to
Okay.
100 pounds of cream.
I can figure that. I get to that.
The 35 test, that was a good test. That made 3 pounds and a half to 100 pounds of cream. Yeah.
31. What was our test? 22?
See, we used to fool around with that button on the bowl once in a while. And
Separated,
it
yeah.
vacillated a little bit, or fluctuated a little bit.
Are you serious?
Sure, you remember them, you had to have an Allen wrench, turn them little screws on the outside of the
Which
bowl?
means we fed some of our cream to the pigs.
Well,
What was
we,
the French then?
I don't know, that's not quite the
30.
way to put it.
Why did you do that? You
I
didn't get
thought
paid
most
as
of the
much.
time ours should have been.
No, but you got a
down
whole
30.
lot more cream. We fed less
No,
to
you
the pigs.
couldn't get more cream.
Yes, because it was a lower test, you got a whole lot more volume.
But it's better if the test is higher, according to
Yeah,
Grandma.
yeah.
Well, no, I bet you they wound up with less money because they had that much less. I mean, you sort of balanced it there. There was a certain percentage that made the best butter.
That don't make sense.
Well, you take milk, that's
But I can
3%
remember
milk.
that we had 22
And
tests.
if you'd add water, you could get it down to 2%. And if you take some of the water out of it, then you could get it up to 4%. No, I wouldn't say, there wasn't a major difference in the amount of money you got.
I didn't know I had looked
Why
at
did they
Because as
bother
soon as they lowered the
testing?
test,
what she said. Repeat that. I didn't know that low fat milk kind of.
And my sister, Senator Rose,
With a lot less problems than we create.
no, there was a certain cutoff point there they used to figure, but somewhere between 26 and 36, I suspect there wasn't a major difference.
Well, here's 27.
first you got a white sheet of paper with your weight and test on.
Because even with 32 tests,
Here's
there was still a lot of
36.
buttermilk came out of it, a lot of water that was taken out of that.
22 pounds of butter.
Well, the text was
Where
in
you
the
getting
envelope
that?
though.
So really it amounts to the same butter with a little less water in it, what it boiled down to.
Where you getting
How
that?
many years you got in there?
Here's Clem Lionel, he had quite a
They
bit.
must have, because now some of these, there might have been 10 people living in a house, but still, 22 pounds of
Boy,
butter.
John Spoden.
That would average.
Where is it?
Right on the bottom, way on the bottom.
Oh, that could average 2 pounds a
$207.12.
month per
Is this,
person.
oh, okay. Okay, I understand.
No, Sister Senator Rose, she was there one time on vacation. I remember that real good time. We got a white slip
23
first,
pounds?
about a week ahead of time before the checks come.
No,
And,
Myers.
That was the weight and the test on. But no, Then Paul just estimated the price and he told Sister General, well, figure out how much cream saving we're gonna get. He handed a slip to it. Uncle Nick, I don't know how you do this.
But I'll tell you one thing, Sister Generose was a smart
She
lady.
was.
She was really wise.
Then
She
Paul,
was a good
Dad
scientist.
says, you add the weight up, then times the test, and then about whatever, he estimates the price. That'll give you the amount of the check. And Pete Reese, you never knew him, huh?
No.
He helped me make wood a couple of winters here, we got it from Joe Steffen. One time, the white slips was out, but no checks. Pete Reese went in with his white slip in the bank, he's gonna cut. Banker says, you gotta wait, this is no check. Done every year separate?
Oh, they were, but I think we're getting them mixed up.
That must be for a number of years though.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's the
I
one.
forget how long he was secretary.
Well, they just had stacks of them.
Those are
Well,
kinda
see,
cute.
they used to, that garage was converted, see, he used to have Iron Man. Scuffle, he used to live in that old chicken house, don't you remember going, seeing that yellow chicken house down there? That was
Who's
plastered,
farm?
had an upstairs, Pete Owens, the one we bought down there.
Is that
The
right?
garage.
Yeah.
Car shed.
That's
Mhm.
not the garage?
They
So
had
I
servants'
suspect-
quarters.
Servants'
Really?
quarters.
That's what it
That
boils
sounds
down
so
to.
nice.
What?
Yes, that's where it boiled down to. But I suspect Pete used that for an office too, maybe, and this kind of, actually it was an old chimney. And it was kind of a shelf made in an old chimney where they just stood there. And nobody ever paid attention.
Phyllis ever said something, that the first room was not the kitchen years back?
It's still kind of painted.
I'm almost sure it was.
Never said.
Oh, in the other house. Yeah, that could be
By Tom there, yeah.
possible.
By the way, it looks where the kitchen cupboards are on the south side. Is there a little piece built out?
Yeah, there is. Well, John and Patty put that there, I think. John's first.
Well, I don't know, maybe, no, I don't think that
Oh, was
Pete
that?
changed
No,
it.
I think that was remodeled before they got married. Phyllis then.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
But they redid the house again later. They
Yeah.
built that garage on it.
Because there was a door that was going out the south side there and they closed that.
Yeah.
That John Phillips did.
Well,
I
why don't we
wonder
go in the
what
other
that
room and I'll
was-
show you just a little Marty and Tom's wedding.
Yeah, I'd
What did
like
I
to do
with
that,
the cake?
because it is, we're gonna have to go home soon.